Hi, welcome to the Creative Grove. I'm Ingrid Blackburn, and today we're going to make some clean and simple cards using the Distress Watercolor technique. I have the Swallowtail stamp by Stampin' Up, and I'm going to ink this up completely using the Tumble Glass Ranger Distress inks. This is the lightest of the 5 shades that we're going to use. Next, we are going to use a little bit of Broken China and keep that a little more towards the outer wings. We're going to move on to Salty Ocean, and we're going to keep that right on the very edge. And even further on the edge, we're going to use Peacock Feathers, which is more of a bluish green. Now, in the very center and the very bottom tails, we're going to use Faded Jeans. This is one of the darker distress blues. We're going to come back in with the Tumble Glass and just kind of blend out that darker color so that it doesn't seem so overpowering. Now we're going to take a spritzer, and this is a fine spritzer, and we're going to lightly mist our stamp. You can see there's a fair amount of water on there, and that's to get those inks reactive. They react very well with water, and we're going to stamp that down onto a piece of 140-pound watercolor paper. Again, I'm standing actually to put a lot of pressure down because it's a really large stamp. And you can see the water had kind of is pulling this card, making it a little bit more warped. That's because it's watercolor paper. I'm going to come in with a paper towel and I had a little fleck on there, remove that. But I'm going to take a little bit of water from the very center. There was a little too much water that had pooled there, and I'm very lightly pulling some of that water out. I don't want to overdo this, but I wanted to take enough out that I kept my design there. And you want to be careful because you don't want to touch your stamp too much because you don't want to spread that to other parts that weren't already stamped. So we're going to let that dry, and we're going to take the same stamp that we have. We're not going to bother to re-ink it or re-wet it, and this is a piece of regular cardstock, white Ultra Smooth cardstock by Stampin' Up. We're going to get that stamped down pretty good, and we have a second card with the same inking. Can't go wrong with that, right? Now, the nice part about that is there wasn't as much water because regular cardstock doesn't like water. So I got a really great image. Here you see a color spritzer, and I'm using a Night of Navy marker by Stampin' Up just to spritz some little splotches down. And this is just giving it a little more definition. You want to hold that very perpendicular like you just saw to your paper, and you want to give it some really good spritzes. And I used actually 3 shades here. I used Night of Navy, then I went ahead and used a Not Quite Navy, which was really a more cross between a warmer blue and a navy. And then I used the Early Espresso for a brown, and that gave it a nice little look here. You want to give those an opportunity to fully dry before moving on to this next step. Now, I did flip my card around. You see that I had done this originally and it didn't turn out so well. I kind of muddled my inks the first time around. So I'm using Mono Multi-Liquid Glue, and this is a good glue to use when you're using watercolor paper. Once you add water to watercolor paper, it doesn't really become that friendly a surface to work with. And the glue is great, especially right there. You see me kind of moving my card around. I have a few seconds in which to reposition it. I love that glue. I always flip my project over and use a bone folder to really kind of get that glue spread all over the back. And I'm going to pop that up right there. I'm deciding whether or not to leave it down or popped up. So we're going to now add several of the Stampin' Dimensionals to the back. I want to make sure that this stays completely popped up, so I'm going to add 8 dimensionals here. A little diamond in the middle and 4 on the corners. That helps to ensure that my project is going to remain popped up when my recipient gets it in the mail, once it's been squashed by all the machines. It looks pretty good. You can see I embossed a greeting in the bottom right hand corner in Espresso Brown. And now we have the other piece, and we're going to add several dimensionals to the back, just like we did the first project. And for this project, I think we're going to pop it up onto just a white top folding card. And the final projects measure 4 1/4 inch wide, 5 1/2 inches tall. And this needed a greeting, so I'm adding a little strip to the bottom. So I have thanks from the Simon Says Stamp thanks set. And we're just gonna cut a banner, but I'm gonna leave enough space that I can add a few sequins. I wanted to kind of jazz this card up a little bit. You could leave it completely plain. It works just fine, but I thought you'd enjoy seeing a card that had no sequins and one that does have sequins. So I just punched my banner using a hexagon punch, and I'm just going to get it positioned here so that I can figure out exactly how long I want it to be for my sequins. So here we have some sparkling clear sequins by Pretty Pink Posh, and I'm taking a medium size and a small size, and I do this a lot on banners. Just adds that little something. And then we're going to take several and position them actually on the card. And I figured I'd show you how to glue down 2 of these. You didn't need to see them all. So I'm just adding a little bit of the liquid glue to the back. And for the smaller one, and actually most of them, I use a Quick Sticks tool. It's not necessary, but it's definitely helpful. And here you go. Quick Sticks tool has that sticky part on the end that'll grab whatever it is you're looking to adhere down, and you can take the back side of it. It comes out, has a point or a flat edge to help hold that down and pull it off that sticky piece. So here we have that card. I love how it looks. So now I'm going to adhere those down. And here's the difference between the two. You can see that they're both clean and simple cards. We have a lot of white space, and we're just going to snip that tail there. Since it's raised up, it's rather easy to do. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm sure you can't wait to get distress watercoloring. Thanks so much for joining me today for these 2 projects. I hope you enjoyed that. Here are some great close-ups for you. If you enjoyed it, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. And if you'd like to see more, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just hit that subscribe button right there. And for more exclusive videos that you won't find here on YouTube, visit my blog and sign up for our Creative Tips newsletter. Look forward to seeing you in another video very soon. Bye-bye.